Underdog Fantasy is the fastest growing fantasy app and easiest place to play fantasy sports. Just jump on UnderdogFantasy.com or download the app, draft your team, and that's it. And if drafts aren't your thing, they also have a pick'em game where you can win 20 times your money in a single night. Use promo code RADIO, and Underdog will double your first deposit when you sign up with up to $100 in bonus cash. Deposit $100, get $100 free. That's promo code RADIO. Terms and conditions apply.
What's going on? The Grave Consequences podcast. This is your boy Shane Swerve Strickland, but secretly, some people might refer to me as Killshot from Lucha Underground. I don't know if it's true or not, but I'm doing a nice little drop for you guys. Thank you guys for supporting the Swerve brand. And I hear that y'all doing a Lucha Underground review on the Social Suplex Network. Man, y'all might have just stumbled upon the best match in Lucha Underground history, in my opinion. You know, Killshot versus Dante Fox. We made history that night, and to this day, I don't think anybody has been able to top what we did in that match in any other promotion across the industry. That match still holds a great place in my heart, and of course, Fox would definitely agree with me. So, thank you guys for reviewing a wonderful, amazing, one of the top 5 matches of my entire wrestling career. Hope you guys enjoy it. This is a drop. Shout out the Grave Consequences podcast. Enjoy the show and be confident in everything you do. And thank you for supporting whose house? Swerve's house.
Hey there, folks, and welcome back to the Grave Consequences podcast. Of course, my name is Caleb Baldwin. You can follow me on Twitter at IamCalebB. That's I am Caleb and then another B. Follow my good friend, co-host, and producer, Greg, at X Maserati. We will put that name in the description so I don't have to spell it on the air. Check out everything else here on the Social Suplex Podcast Network, and rate, review, and follow on Apple Podcast. As always, check me out every Wednesday night right after AEW Dynamite on Eddie and Caleb's HeroCast. Of course, this episode of Grave Consequences drops on Thursday, April 14. The night before that, Eddie and Caleb's HeroCast will be covering the Seth Rogen vehicle, the Green Hornet. And my God, was that a treat. But enough about that. I want to wish you guys a happy Look Up at the Sky Day. For those of you listening in the future, it is April 5th. But on April 14, of course, Look Up at the Sky Day. Everyone celebrates it every year. Just got to look up at the sky and just celebrate.
Are you finding a new way to tell people to go outside and touch grass? I don't know what you're...
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Well, my thing is, I'm like, you know what? Let's talk to the people in the future. Let's relate to those troglodyte listeners out there in the future. So I'm like, let's Google holidays. And there was one, and I told you off the air, that I really wanted to make fun of, but I'm like, that seems mean-spirited. So I was like, well, this is the second best one. So guys, go look up at the sky. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, go touch some grass.
Yeah, look up at the sky. This episode of Lucha Underground that we're reviewing is Season 3, Episode 11. And the title of the episode was Aztec Warfare 3, but me, a child of Craven, if you will, a lover of horror cinema, and specifically slasher cinema, this being the third Aztec Warfare, I gave this the working title of Aztec Dream Warriors. Do you like Dream Warriors, man?
I love it.
Yeah. Do you love the Dawkins song, Dream Warriors?
I'll have to Google it.
They made it for the movie, bruh.
Sure.
I can't believe you. You're rich, man. Okay, you know what, guys? Don't go look up at the sky. Fire up Peacock or Tubi or whatever you have to. Go buy a DVD for all I care. Go back and watch A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3, Dream Warriors. It's amazing. But enough about all that. We're getting right into it. And Johnny Mundo runs up to Dario Cueto and he's like, hey, you know what? I'm going to be Lucha Underground champion tonight. And if for some reason I don't win this, next week, I'm cashing in my gift to the gods. I'm turning it in, getting my title shot. And Taya comes up holding a camera, and she's filming a documentary for Johnny Mundo. And boy, I forgot about this angle. I really did.
Yeah, they do it for a little bit, don't they?
Dude, I think they carry it out through like most of season 4 as well.
Yeah, they become what are they called again? They're Worldwide Underground.
Yes.
They become one of the brightest points of Lucha Underground going forward. Like they don't ever get bad.
No, they do not. By the way, Johnny, he's like, you know what? I'm coming in at number 12, and I'm gonna come in. I'm gonna win. Great. Aztec Warfare. Pardon me. I almost said Grave Consequences there. Dario says, you know what? Good luck, because you're gonna need it. Dario takes the piece of paper with the 12, rips it in half, and he says, you know what? You're going in at number 2. And the only thing you're going to be fighting for is your life. Because, as we all know, number 1 in that match, the defending Lucha Underground champion, Matanza Cueto. Coincidentally, by the way, for the second year in a row in Aztec Warfare, the champion has entered number 1.
Yeah, this time because Dario is cocky.
Yes.
The previous time, I think he was punching Phoenix.
Yes. No, Katrina was punishing Phoenix because she was the proprietor of the temple at the time. But yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was like the prototype for, if you remember, the 2020 Royal Rumble. And I probably mentioned this before on the air. When Brock Lesnar entered number 1 as WWE champion.
Well, they also did that back in Stone Cold times.
No. Roman Reigns did it, but he was defending the title. And again, it wasn't his choice. And Austin never entered as champion.
Oh, okay. I was just thinking of times people were punished with the number 1 spot.
Oh, yeah. Austin in 99 was entered as number 1. Yes, because Vince McMahon was entered as number 2.
Didn't Vince win?
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Go back and watch the 99 Royal Rumble after you watch Dream Warriors and after you listen to this podcast. Guys, real quick, for the uninitiated, here are the rules of Aztec Warfare. I want you to think Royal Rumble, but with pinfall and submission rather than over the top rope. And now these pinfalls and submissions have to happen inside the ring. And there are 20 entrants in this match. And entrants will come to the ring at regularly scheduled intervals, is how it's advertised. So not necessarily 90 seconds, but, there might be a little bit of inconsistency on the entrance times. But you know what? WWE does that with the Royal Rumble. Everyone does that with Rumbles. It's a common thing. But yeah, the basic concept here, 1 to 20. 20 people enter, 1 person wins. The only way to get an elimination is by pinfall or submission. Last person standing is champion. Those are the rules. And Greg, do you want to get right into the match?
I would love to.
Absolutely, I would too. So, of course, Matanza and Johnny Mundo enter 1 and 2. By the way, I love that, because this will come into the finish later. Dario Cueto's out there with Melissa Santos, and he mentions, number 2, he's kind of whispering in her ear. He's like, Sexy was supposed to be number 2, but Johnny Mundo is number 2 by random draw. And he says, he's like, say random draw. Yeah. And the face-off of Matanza and Mundo was very much just cat and mouse, I guess is the way to describe it.
Yeah, I mean, Johnny is trying not to actually engage Matanza because he's not an idiot.
Yeah, exactly. He's not everybody at the end of Aztec Warfare 2.
Yeah, and, Johnny, even though he's playing cat and mouse, Johnny's the kind of wrestler, I know we sing his praises all the time, but he can go with anybody. Like, he's like a Kurt Angle in his prime. Like, you could put him in there with anybody.
Absolutely. Number 3 was Son of Havoc, and number 4, Jeremiah Crane. So the ex-lover of Ivelisse and the current lover of Ivelisse. Pretty good stuff. Those 4, they kind of huddle up, and I wrote down, everybody fears Matanza, is what because they're they're trying to gang attack him basically. At number 5, to the absolute adoration of the crowd, Pentagon Dark. And we'll get into that. Yeah, we'll get into that. Number 6, PJ Black. Number 7, Mariposa. By the way, we're 7 entrants in. We have not had one elimination. Nope. Until after number 7, rather. The first elimination was Jeremiah Crane, eliminated by Matanza Cueto. And the second elimination, I wrote it down somewhere. Come on.
Wasn't it Mariposa?
That sounds right. Yes, Mariposa was the second elimination. So she was by far probably the shortest. She had the shortest tenure in this match. Let's see here. 2 eliminations for Matanza when Rey Mysterio shows up at number 8. And Rey Mysterio takes out the Worldwide Underground and faces off with Pentagon. Dr. Wagner Jr. at number 9. By the way, at one point, Vampiro says the Worldwide Underground turned bitch and hid because they all collectively hid under the ring. Mundo, Black, and Evans. All right, next up, number 10, Marty the Moth. And Marty comes in and he immediately slaps Matanza.
Yeah, Marty, do you want to just go through the eliminations first, or do you want to get into it as we...
I'll cover them as they come up.
Okay.
Yeah. By the way, I was wrong, by the way. Jack Evans hadn't yet entered. He actually entered at number 11. When he comes in, the Worldwide Underground holds the ring. They all 3 gang up on Son of Havoc, and they get the elimination. Sexy Star comes in at number 12. So, Sexy Star got the number 12 spot after all. Ricky Mandel is back at number 13. Ricky Mandel eats a package pile driver, and Pentagon is going to break the arm when the Black Lotus shows up with 3 other women. And do you know who the 3 other women are? Because I'm going to tell the listener, but do you know who they are?
I do.
Okay. Kairi Hojo, a.k.a. Kairi Sane, Mayu Iwatani, and Io Shirai, I believe?
Yes.
Yes, there we go. So 3 very talented Japanese female wrestlers are paired up, or I guess aligned with the Black Lotus. 4-on-1 assault, and Johnny Mundo crawls in and steals the pin on Pentagon Dark, and now Pentagon Dark has been moved out of the way, as you put it. Yeah. Man, there.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll get into it. Also, right after that, PJ Black pins Ricky Mandel. At number 14 is Masquerita Sagrada, who rushes Matanza.
Yeah, this seems to be a recurring strategy for some people.
Yeah.
And it's never a good one.
No. You have seen a year of people trying to do what you're doing. It's never worked. Why would it start working now?
Like, if you were a matador, these people are basically charging the bull.
Which is stupid. That's counterintuitive.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, a mega Wrath of the Gods, as I wrote it down, and Masquerita has been eliminated. Of course, at number 15 is Famous B. Famous B tries to pitch, joining up as his client to Rey Mysterio, and he says, 4-2-3. 4-2-3, and Rey says 6-1-9. 6-1-9, and Famous B is gone. Rey spikes Marty the Moth, and Marty the Moth has been eliminated. At number 16 is the Mac. Number 17 is Joey Ryan, and he handcuffs himself to the handrail. So last year in Aztec Warfare, you might remember, he handcuffed himself to a grate by the bleachers. This year he did handrail because he's like, well, the handrail is in concrete. That's how Matt Stryker explained it. And it makes sense when you think about it. He should be fine, although it's like you can't win it from out there,
Yeah, it's not a well thought out. And the placement he does it right at the bottom of the stairs. Yeah. It's one of those spots where it's supposed to be funny. If you think about it for more than 5 seconds, you realize how stupid it is.
Yeah.
Like if he ran to the other side and did it at that guardrail, yeah, no problem. But the people coming through are still going to go through him at the bottom.
They're gonna see you. Yeah, they're gonna walk past you. At best, they're going to walk past you.
Yeah.
But speaking of, at number 18, you gotta love the timing. This was pure comedy from Lucha Underground. Number 18, Mil Muertes. He's walking down the steps, and he is like staring a hole through Joey Ryan as he walks down the steps, and he somehow rips the cuffs off of the handrail.
Yeah, he like breaks the cuffs around his wrist.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like they weren't even locked or something. It was...
Yeah. Mil hits the flatliner on Joey as Matanza hits the Wrath of the Gods on Dr. Wagner, and they both get a simultaneous elimination. And what was awesome, by the way, is the monsters are staring at each other during the pin.
Yep.
That was cool. After that, the monsters start clubbering. Number 19 is Cobra Moon.
Yeah.
She got so much better.
Yeah.
I was
going to ask you about that.
Years later. Like, she kind of sucked in Lucha Underground, but she is much better now.
Well, she had a good spot in this match, too.
Yeah. Cobra Moon sits atop the announce table, and perhaps to wait on the number 20 entrant, because we know who it is. He won the right to be in that spot when he beat his tag teammates. The Max stuns Jack Evans, and he gets the elimination. PJ Black gets stunned, and he gets pinned. So 2/3 of the Worldwide Underground are now eliminated, both at the hands of the Mac. Drago comes out at number 20, and Drago chases Cobra Moon, and they brawl. Dragon's Lair, or Dragon's Tail. How about
Dragon's Tail.
Dragon's Tail, pardon me. Dragon Tails. Let's all go to Dragon Tails. Cobra Moon is eliminated. Drago immediately eats a car bomb by Matanza, or drinks a car bomb, rather. An Irish car bomb. And Drago
what was the car bomb again? Because I remember that. I forget the move.
Ah, my gosh. I'm blanking. I'm so sorry.
Was it a driver? Or was it a suplex?
I believe it was a driver. Watch the match, guys.
Yeah, it's a cool move, though.
It is. Anyway, Drago is eliminated. After this elimination, the field just starts assaulting Matanza. And, I mean, it's move after move after move from everyone. And this culminates when Ray hits a 619. He goes for another. He gets caught. But he struggles out of the Wrath of the Gods position into something like a Canadian destroyer. I mean, it's not quite as clean as a Petey Williams destroyer, but still pretty good. Anyway, he hits that on Matanza, and Matanza is eliminated. That's right. For the first time since he's shown up in the temple, Matanza has been pinned. And this means we're going to have a new Lucha Underground champion. And I know you didn't like this decision, but the crowd absolutely marked out, dude. They love this.
Oh, I mean, the crowd was all about Ray. And it's one of those things where the live crowd, they're going to be... This is after Ray was champion in WWE. You know, like, Ray was he was over.
Yeah.
Our complaints are... That's a spot that you could have saved for someone that would have been there longer than a season.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I mean, technically Ray was there 2 seasons, but yeah. Yeah, I understand. By the way, Matanza is battering Rey Mysterio, and while this is happening, Johnny is laughing in the face of Dario Cueto.
Yeah, they stay right, even though they're both heels, they stay rivals.
Exactly. Matanza, by the way, Dario's like, "No, cut it out, brother. And he's holding up the key. And Matanza pushes down Dario and walks off.
He also beat the shit out of Ray, though. Don't forget that.
Oh, he did? No, he absolutely did. Yeah.
Ray didn't get eliminated. He had to leave in a stretcher.
Yeah. Wow, are you serious? Rey Mysterio didn't get eliminated?
Well, he might have got pinned.
No, Johnny pinned him.
Yeah, Johnny pinned him, but like he left in a stretcher.
Yes, exactly.
Johnny had to get that heat.
Yeah. Jack Evans and PJ Black are back to assault Sexy Star with Johnny Mundo. And out of nowhere, from the heavens, Angelico is back. diving crossbody from the top of Dario Cueto's office, which he is famous for at this point. And he dives onto the Worldwide Underground. And Sexy Star crawls to the pin. And Johnny Mundo is gone to a huge pop. We've got a final 3 now of the Mac, Sexy Star, and Mil Muertes. And like I said before, we are guaranteed a new Lucha Underground champion. It's not going to be the Mac, though. He ate a flatliner and he got eliminated. We came down to Sexy Star and Mil Muertes. Mil, basically owns this face off. He brings a table into the ring. At one point, Sexy Star hits a DDT on the chair. Multiple chair shots from Sexy Star. And by the way, Matt Stryker at this point is shining on commentary during the Sexy Star Hope spot. Absolutely just shining for what it's worth. He's honing in on do this for, the people who said you can't, and the men who held you down, and this, that, and the other, and just you can hear the passion in his voice. Did you notice that?
Yeah, the commentary did a great job. The wrestlers did a great job, and they were even panning to these 5 women. I don't know who they were, but they were really trying to get over that as a woman she was triumphing over, I guess men that picked on her in a match she engaged in willingly. But yeah, they were really, it was a great moment.
I think they're, sorry to interrupt. I think they were more honing in on the fact that, again, she is an abuse survivor.
Yeah.
Like for a shoot.
Yeah, they were doing a good job. The crowd was into it. It was a great moment. It was people were behind her. She's a baby face. I mean, I definitely have a tone in my voice because we find out more about her later.
Yeah.
She's not so much a goody two shoes like we thought.
No. Okay, so at one point,
yep,
Sexy's in front of a table that's set up in the corner, and Mil runs in to spear her. Sexy moves. Mil eats the table, but he kicks out. Sexy Star then runs into a strong right hand from Mil Muertes. He just hit the crap out of her, bro. Mil brings another table into the ring. He takes Sexy to the top rope. He's going to go for the flatliner, but Sexy fights it off, and Mil falls through the table. Sexy then nails a double foot stomp, and she is the new Lucha Underground champion. Sexy Star's crying. Crowd's chanting, "You deserve it." And by the way, it didn't ring hollow at the time. Knowing what we know now, it definitely rings hollow. But it's one of the few "you deserve it" chants around that time period that it's they didn't do this for anyone at the time. They didn't do it for everyone. But yeah, Sexy Star is your new Lucha Underground champion. She's crying. There are probably some believers out there in the temple crying. And that's the show, guys. First female Lucha Underground champion.
I want to talk about a few things.
Yes.
If I may.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, that's why we do the show.
I want to say I love the opening of the match because it was all pump kicks and thrust kicks in Matanza's face. And I love pump kicks, especially Jeremiah Crane's. Love it.
Yeah.
Marty,
Sam,
when he...
And for the uninitiated.
Yep. I loved when Marty came in. He went right after Matanza, and it was just two big dudes just brawling. And Marty even does a top rope dive. He jumps over the apron ropes and flies. The moth flies. And it's if they wanted to turn him face, they could have in that one moment.
Yeah.
There was some funny spots where Matanza pinned Masquerita real quick. There was this weird sexual energy between Mariposa and
I'm sorry, I don't know why I didn't write that down. That was really weird.
I figured we were going to go back to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, they somehow they were both getting up at the same time, and they were locked eyes, and there was this weird sexual energy until Matanza goes, "Hey, I hate girls," and he beat her up and pinned her.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's very violent sexual energy.
Yeah.
The Worldwide Underground was hilarious. I didn't like that. I understand they gave Ray a few spots, but they didn't need to have him take out Matanza. You should have saved that for one of your top main talents. Ricochet's dead right now. Prince Puma's dead.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
You had Pentagon, I'm going to get to him in a second.
Yeah.
Phoenix, you had eliminated for Drago. I'm going to get to that. He could have done. You basically they went out of their way to prevent people from being there that could have benefited from taking out Matanza. They didn't need to become champion, but they could have been the ones to take out Matanza. Rey Mysterio didn't need this.
So
He didn't need it.
The comparison I could draw from every point you just made is they kind of moved people out of the paint, similar to a way like at the 2015 Rumble that the WWE did with Daniel Bryan for Roman Reigns.
Very much so, except for it's less. I know people wanted Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns wasn't the pick for the fans, but Roman Reigns is more legitimate of a choice than Ray, because look at Roman, he's still there. He's still their top guy, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
But it's a very good analysis. Like they did move people around. I'm gonna get to Pentagon first. This guy's fucking over, right? I can tell you as someone that's rewatching this, I don't give a shit what Pentagon does, even though he's one of my favorite wrestlers. Going back and rewatching this, knowing what's happening, I am not invested in anything he does. Now there's some cool matches coming up, but the story doesn't fucking matter. Like I'm not invested in him doing anything of note besides having cool matches. You interrupted this for a storyline that this will be the highlight of the Black Lotus storyline, is the match that comes up. This will be the one and only highlight of it. So they did set that up, but they took Pentagon off.
I'm so sorry to interrupt, but not only is that the highlight for the story, but it's a low light for Lucha Underground. Like they lost viewers from the match they're about to do.
I love the match, but yeah, what you say is true. Like you can like something and it could still be not well received.
Because I'm going to tell you guys right now, without giving away what they do exactly, the match they're going to set up as progressive and feminist and you know everything they had from tonight's match with Sexy Star becoming champion. This is like the exact opposite.
I didn't think about it like that, but you're actually right.
Yeah,
that is actually exactly what it becomes.
I'm
wow.
baffled.
Yeah, that's a good. That's a very apt comparison. Maybe
Vic Hero was the showrunner this season, just by how bipolar everything was this season.
You know what? You might be right. It's yeah, but like Phoenix is, well, I'm going to get the Phoenix. So Pentagon is eliminated. He doesn't get that spot he needs. He basically does nothing in this match besides almost break Ricky Mandel's arm. So you get this huge pop for a guy that you just repackaged.
Yeah.
You just repackaged for bigger and better things to get eliminated by some ninjas.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Like it usually doesn't work out well when a character's eliminated by ninjas in wrestling. Don't ask me why, but it just usually doesn't. So you take Pentagon off the board. Puma is dead. He died in that Grave Consequences match, but that's fine. That one's a legitimate reason to not be here. But that could have been his spot. He probably needed it more than Ray did.
Yes.
Well, he definitely needed it more than Ray. Even though he's looked the strongest he's ever looked, if this is going to be your main guy, that could have been a great guy. You know who would have been what's the term for like a movie that's like it's like black something? Like it's underdog, but it's like a sleeper.
Dark Horse.
Dark Horse, yes. You know who would have been a Dark Horse choice to take out Matanza? That would have been wild as shit.
Who?
King Cuerno.
Yeah. I mean, we haven't seen King Cuerno this season, but yes, I agree.
You could have had Phoenix, but guess what? Phoenix is out because you had Drago beat him and Aerostar in a match to get into this, and Drago does fuck all besides eliminate Cobra Moon.
Well, they have bigger plans at play there, but yeah.
They have bigger plans, but you could have set that up anywhere else. You didn't need to set it up here.
In Aztec,
or at the expense, or you could have set it up here, but not at the expense of Phoenix. Like you could have not had Ricky Mandel in there. You could have not had Joey Ryan in there, right?
Yeah.
So Phoenix is not here. He's not there to get the rub. Like he could have had him take out Matanza, right? That'd been cool. So you got Pentagon's out, Rey Fenix is out, Puma's out. So they give it to Rey Mysterio. It's fine and all, but that spot just bothered me. And I'm gonna go right to the end, right?
Yes. Oh, by the way, one more name, and I know you're not a big fan, I guess, especially given what her reputation would become. But I mean, she won the match anyway. Why not have Sexy Star take out Matanza?
You could have done anything. I mean, and I'm going to get to her too.
Yeah.
You could have done a lot of things. Like
Yeah.
and even she would have been a legitimate answer to that. I think because in this final sequences, Mill does everything besides do a fucking flatliner to pin her.
Yeah.
He keeps bringing in tables and chairs and bullshit. And I'm like, okay, this is so much, I guess the word's contrivance. Like, we're just going to have him do all these spots, these elaborate spots to try to kill her when he could have just fucking pinned her with just weight alone. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
And it just took me, when I first watched it, I was all on board. It was cool. But upon second watch, my God, like this was just it was so obvious what was happening.
Look, it doesn't help that, and again, if there's anyone listening that somehow doesn't know about this, in 2017, Triple Mania, Sexy Star shot on Rosemary and broke her arm. And she has blackballed from wrestling since then.
And this was for apparently the reasons were other girls were picking on her or were.
Yeah, I think it was like maybe Apache was picking on her or something. I can't remember.
Yeah, they were like politicking against her. So she decided to break Rosemary's arm. Like Rosemary had no idea what the fuck was happening.
Exactly.
And got her arm broke. And I don't know anything about Rosemary. So I have no reason to believe that she didn't deserve it anyway. I'm not even going to go down that bad faith
argument.
No.
No. There's no, like, if you're putting your body on the line, you're putting your body in trust to other people to not do shit like that.
It's a wrestling submission. You don't apply those. That's retarded.
Exactly.
I pardon my language, but
it just drove it out of you. But yeah, Sexy Star at the time, good choice. Great little moment. But what's funny is actually she was, from everything I was told, she was the second option.
Oh, who was the first?
Evilise, who was injured at the time.
Oh my God.
What, is that worse?
Oh my, she's made of glass. She couldn't, I'm sorry, if you can't last in AEW.
Well, that's why she wasn't champion. It's because she was hurt.
She was always hurt. And it's not her fault, but she's one-dimensional. She's always the same. I'm the baddest bitch in the world. I have a chip on my shoulder. I'm sorry, that's not much of a character. How are you not bored of that after 5 minutes?
So what you're saying is you prefer the Sexy Star choice to Evilise then?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Did you have anything else to hammer on in this match?
No. And I know I'm going hard on it. It's just...
No, that's why we do the show, bro.
It's just not even in hindsight, when it happened, it was like, okay, I see what they're trying to do, but a lot of stuff is done for heat. And this is something I noticed, is that I didn't notice it until, I started accepting AEW's booking, because usually the faces win.
Yeah.
Usually TK gives the fans what they want.
Yes.
And sometimes I don't like it because it's like, okay, I know the outcome already. But Lucha Underground, unfortunately, is in a time period where bookers are still in the get heat no matter what. Get heat.
Yeah.
Overall. And yeah, I know I'm saying this right after the sexy thing, but there was a lot of spots in there that were for heat. Getting rid of Pentagon, heat. Right? Yeah. Drago eliminated right away, heat. Right? Ray leaving in a stretcher, heat. Mundo pinning Pentagon right after Pentagon got jumped by ninjas, heat. There's so many opportunities to give fans what they would like to have.
Yeah.
That they instead give heat. And I think that could be some Vampiro. I could see it. I have no reason to believe it, but sometimes you should just give the fans what they want. And not tell them what they want.
This is very much I'm trying to think who's a good misery porn director, like Ty West, Ari Aster. it's like something by them, like a wrestling match done by them. Like, let's make people as miserable as possible.
Yeah, and I know it sounds weird because we're talking about Sexy Star winning it, but like everything else in the match, the only other a lot of the main high spots were given to Ray. He got the spot with Famous B. He got the win over Matanza. Like a lot of other stuff's just comedy.
Yeah.
Or some jobber AEW dark stuff. Ooh, Pentagon beat Ricky Mandel. Cool, right?
Yeah.
Matanza pins Dr. Wagner Jr. Okay, cool. Wow. Right? You get what I'm saying? Like there's who are the pillars of Lucha Underground? Phoenix, Puma, Pentagon. Fourth, who would you pick? Sexy Star. I'm gonna say Sexy Star because I think Mills he could have been a pillar. But
I was gonna say I would have said Mil Muertes, but yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna say either or. I think could have been Mill, but okay, you could have had anybody lose. Okay, how about this? Let me put it this way: what if Johnny Mundo was the person to lose to Sexy Star at the end of the match?
Yeah.
How much better would that? How much more sense would that have made?
That would have made a lot more sense. Yes.
And that's what I'm getting at. Is like you didn't need to use Mill for that.
Yeah.
And to make it make sense, you had to have Mill for 3 attempts, go to the turnbuckle, pull out a table. He pulled out a table twice. I'm like, dude, just fucking flatliner. Right?
Yeah.
What took me out of it was like, okay, it's like Batman plot armor. Like when Batman's with the GLA and he's fighting like aliens and he's dodging everything, even though, they're all faster and stronger than him. It's like, come on, man. Like you're really pushing for this and you could have got there. But it's like, okay, you're going to have her beat Mill. It would have made so much more sense if she had beat Johnny Mundo, and it wouldn't have hurt Johnny Mundo that much.
Yeah.
Mill didn't need this loss.
No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Yeah, that's the show, guys. That's the show. We'll grade this match. And since it's just a match, let's give it the old 5-star scale. How are you rating this match, man?
3.
3 out of 5. I'm gonna go 3.5. I think that's right. Maybe a little gracious, but I like my 3.5.
It's hard to grade this because it's kind of like everything good they do something bad as well.
Yes. But overall, an enjoyable 45 minutes, I would say.
Yeah, I don't regret it. I mean, like I'm going hard on it, but I'm just going all hard on the parts that I think are stupid. There were fun parts, like Dr. Wagner and I forget who, but him and someone else were brawling the fuck out of each other.
Yeah. Oh my god.
It was. I wish they had stayed on that because they were just.
Was it Wagner and Matanza?
Was it? Because he was brawling with someone. And it was freaking awesome.
I think Matanza were just beating the crap out of each other throughout the temple.
Yeah, Dr. Wagner he could brawl.
Yeah, for sure. And that guy, by the way, was in his 50s at the time.
Yeah, he wasn't young.
Exactly.
You could tell that he's one of those wrestlers, like not to the level of Haku, but you could tell he's the kind of guy you don't like. He could fight for real.
Yeah, he is unfuckwithable.
Yeah, like not because he knows martial arts, but just because he just knows how to fight really good.
Exactly. So with that, 3 stars from Greg, 3.5 from me. That's the show, guys. And just know that if you have a move in your arsenal that you choose not to use for an extended period of time, you might suffer a loss, and even more, you might suffer grave consequences.